Hello everybody, my name is Jaden Jewett, and today joining me is my father and mother, Marcus Jewett and Diana Jewett. Today I'm going to be asking them 20 questions about how their DJ stuff has been going, and we're just going to interview them. So, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hey everybody, my name is Marcus. I go by the name of DJ Marco Polo, and I'm the co-owner of DJ Marco Polo Entertainment.
And Mom?
Hello everybody, I am Diana, and I am Diana the MC.
And today I'm going to be asking them about 10 questions each and then a few questions for both of them, and we're going to learn about their growing and adventure being a DJ and an MC.
Okay.
So starting first, we're going to have some questions for DJ Marco Polo, my
Okay.
dad. Dad, let's start with your story. You've always had a passion for music.
Mm-hmm.
What originally sparked that, and how did that love evolve over the years?
You know, it's a long story. It goes all the way back to my days in high school. So when I was in high school, we used to have this thing on the radio station where high school kids could come into like the radio station and they could do like the daily countdown, like the top 88 is what it was called at that time. And so I had a connection with the person that was always able to get on the radio from my school.
Oh, that's nice.
And her name was Charlotte. She actually brought me up to the radio station. And I remember just kind of walking in there. You hear these people on the radio and you kind of imagine what a studio feels or looks like. And then you get there and it's even grander than that. And I remember the first time walking into the studio and having to say, yeah, you know, the number 8 song is such and such, and just kind of that energy. So that was like the first thing. And that led to like an internship. So I started to seek an internship, which eventually materialized. But when I decided to go to college, it was very clear what I wanted to do. And that was a degree and a path in communications. And so I went that route. I had the internship at the radio station that actually became a full-time gig. And I had a buddy, Daryl, who I'm still friends with today. I can't believe we're still friends after like almost 45 years. And he and I were DJing and MCing like house parties back then. So
that's awesome.
we just kind of had that whole music scene, and it just lit me up. It's something about being around music and just providing music just always like just energized me.
So this whole music area, it's in your field. Like, it's nothing new to you. You've been doing this your whole life. So
Yeah,
it's
I
like
mean-
a secondhand thing. It's just natural when it comes to you.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, even when I would go out, like even in my party days, I remember when I would go out, the first thing I would do is like check out the DJ. Who is the DJ? What is he using? Is he using like techniques? And this is like way back in the day. Obviously things are more digital now and people are using controllers and CDJs, but I just always like had an affinity, like what music they're playing. Even when the DJ was mixing, I was always listening to try to see, okay, I know it's coming in. I can hear the harmony of the next song. So even before the average person knew what was being played, because, you know, like once you drop that next track and everybody like, yay, I already knew what was coming in because I could hear like the subtle tones as it was blending in. So just the affinity for music was just always there.
Oh, that's awesome. That's amazing. And that's a great thing to have as a DJ, you know, the natural love and feel for music. So
Yeah.
On to the second question. You used to intern and work as an on-air personality at the Houston radio stations.
Right.
How did those early experiences shape your approach to entertainment today?
I mean, I talked about that a few moments ago. So again, it started as an internship, and I remember the lady who used to do the bookings. Her name was Loretta. Reached out to her and said, "Hey, I want to see about getting a job or at least an internship." And she, you know, worked her magic. Eventually, got me an internship. I want to say the summer between 11th and 12th grade. So I was up there, and it was real grunt work, like putting together like, you know, water bottles and packing boxes for like the real professional people, right? But it gave me access to that world. And even in some of like later hours, I remember going into like the studio and, you know, I could cut tape on like the big 8-track mixtapes and stuff. And, you know, I'd get in there and just say, hey, this is Marco Polo. and then I'll listen to it and rewind. So again, I was just enamored by that entire experience. And then I remember the radio station, it had a sister station that they launched on the AM side of the house, right? So we're talking like straight up old school. And this is like, I think it was called 1590 Raps, right? So the big station was Magic 102 Jams. That was the big, you know, urban station in Houston, Texas. And that's where I'm from originally. And they had this sister station called 1590 Raps, right? So they would play like all of the rap songs and stuff. So my job was to basically go in there, play the music, and I think my shift was like from 10 p.m. to like 2 a.m. And mind you, I had to get up and go to school the next morning. But you know what? I just loved it. And eventually somebody didn't show up, and I was just hanging around the studio, and they needed somebody to go in.
And that was your opportunity.
It's like, hey, do you feel like you can run the board? I was like, yeah. Well, can you talk? I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, I wasn't ready for it, but it's like, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm just going to do this. So I remember it just like it was like a Saturday night. This one guy, his name was Long John. He was supposed to show up, and something came up. He wasn't able to do it, and I went in there, and it's just like, hey, Magic 102, it's Marco Polo. I wasn't going by DJ back then, and I'm like looking out because they had this big window overlooking the city, and it's just like, man, I just felt like I was like king of the world. So I just went for it, and that's how it all kind of started.
And you were in the 11th, 12th grade, similar to me. I'm in the 11th grade right now, so you think my chance of becoming a DJ is going to be coming soon? Maybe?
I think you could do pretty much anything you want to do, and I think that's what I try to tell anybody that's in my orbit. If you have a passion for something, go for it. And I've even told you, like, when people say, like, what's my gift? And it's simple, right? It's a thing that you do that comes natural, but everybody who looks at you when you do it, they're like, how does he do that, right? That's your gift. So just don't forsake that part of you, and you always can do pretty much anything you want to, as long as you're willing to put in the time, the energy, the dedication, and the commitment.
Strong words from a strong-minded man. I love that.
It's all good.
All right, going on to the third question here I have for you, and then we'll go to some for Mom.
Okay.
You used to MC house parties back in the day with Daryl, which you talked about earlier.
Yeah.
What do you remember most about that era? And did you ever imagine it coming into a full circle like this?
No, man, we had some real rough days, and these are the old school days. This is when you were a DJ. Like today, everything is like, on your hard drive, or you have it on your laptop's drive. Or maybe you have some type of streaming, music library, etc. Not back in them days. Back in them days, we had to carry like, empty milk crates, and that's where we put the records in. And so we would have to show up with like, 10 milk crates, right? Oh, wow. And we'd have to get there early, pack in all these milk crates. There was no digital. Everything was analog. Everything was all about the vinyl record. But so you had that part of it. We had some, used turntables. They weren't even Techniques. I forgot. They might have been Pioneer, and just kind of pieced together stuff. We got stuff from like a pawn shop and, secondhand stuff. But, we had enough speakers to make it happen. But it was just something about once we set it all up and the music started playing and we could just see the vibe and everybody having a good time, it was just like, man, I got him now. And so Daryl at that time was more of the DJ. I was doing more of the MC work again because of what I was doing at the radio station. So I was kind of the hype man. I see you out there doing your thing. I see you. Let's get that Humpty dance going. Let's get the Harlem Shuffle going. Okay. So I would do that part of it. And then Daryl was doing the mixing, but it was always part of me that wanted to like check out the mixing part of it too. So I never strayed away from that either.
Do you feel like an old part of yourself being the MC is something that transitions over to Mom as well?
Well,
do you see similar traits in yourself in her?
Well, she can be quite vocal when she wants to, right? And so, the fact that she can speak, that let me know that there was always something in her that was ready to become an MC. So, and I will talk about the whole DJ thing here in just a moment, but I knew there was always this hidden talent inside of her. And sometimes I talked about people having a gift and something that comes easy and you just kind of gravitate to it. Sometimes you'll have a gift and sometimes people have to help you unlock your gift. Maybe you don't quite see it, and maybe it's a mentor or a sponsor or sometimes a stranger that helps you see something inside of you that you didn't really fully believe was part of your journey or part of your, potential. But with Mom or with Diana, I've always seen that potential. So her progression into becoming an MC was totally something I knew that was going to be natural. She just had to get out of her own way and just kind of overcome the fear factor piece of it, because it's kind of fearful, right? Being an MC, standing in front of 10 people, 20 people, 100 people, 1,000 people. It's not something that everybody can do. They can be the most confident person in the world in their regular, day-to-day life. Put them on a stage and with a microphone and all eyes are on them. You'll take the hardest person in the world, they'll freeze up. But I knew Diana was cool and collected, and she was ready for it. So when she did her first, gig as an MC, she knocked it out of the park.
I love how y'all's trust and faith in each other helped grow the business and everything that goes with it. That's truly amazing. Now, Mom, I want to, we've had enough with the DJ, the main man.
Hey, it's all good.
Let's transition over to Mom, the MC here. I got some questions for you that I have been wanting to ask. So, Mom, when Dad first asked you to join this business, what was your initial reaction? Did you ever imagine yourself doing this?
Well, that's a great question. When your dad asked me to become an MC, I was like, you want me to become an MC? I did not believe in myself, number one, right? So, like your dad said, standing in front of the crowd and just all eyes on me, it was definitely something that I was afraid of. Not only that, but I work a full-time job in the dental field and, managing being a mom and just, I did not foresee myself being an MC, but I'm so glad that, your dad saw that in me and I believed in myself and stepped out of my comfort zone and I am so happy that I said yes because I love it. So
yeah, that's amazing. Now, for the second question I have for you, you've really rebranded yourself as Diana the MC. That's your title for you, the MC. That's your thing. What does being an MC mean to you personally? Not just the description or the title of it. What is your title?
So Diana the MC for me is, of course, storytelling, right? It's telling someone's story. And not only is it telling someone's story, but it's being a part of that story. It's being intentional. It's also just being present and, it's being a part of somebody's special day. So that's what being an MC for me is them also trusting me and believing in me. So I feel like that is a big thing about being an MC. Your dad also, of course, helps with that too, because your dad, this was all your dad,
I take credit. I take credit for all this.
To the DJ business, this was his vision. This was his passion, and I supported him with it 100%, to just see the joy and the happiness that he has out of it. But us doing this together, I love helping and supporting your dad's business and being an MC. We're doing great.
Yeah, I saw how the whole thing pieced together personally. I remember being, this is probably about a few months ago even. That's crazy that all this has happened in the past year. But a few months ago, I remember just at night, hearing these loud music stuff playing over and over. And it's the same 15 seconds of a song, just keep going over and over. And it's
Tell me about it.
He's working hours of hours of hours, and he just keeps grinding. And it's amazing how this thing has just grown. And your success on this, it's really impressive. And I'm proud of you personally, Dad.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
Now, for the third question, and then we're going to jump back to Dad here. What would people be surprised to learn about the amount of responsibility an MC actually has at a wedding or event?
Well, the amount of responsibility is huge, right? I mean, there's a lot of communication, timeline of events, building relationships with vendors, gaining trust. So all of those things are very important, vital to being an MC. So I think a lot of people don't realize that and don't recognize that. So there's a lot of moving parts, and those are huge and important when it comes to being an MC. It's not just being an MC. So there's a lot of things that are involved.
Okay, that's great. All right, now jumping back to the main guy, DJ Marco Polo.
You put me on blast like that, but it's all good.
Anyways, after 25 years, mind you, I'm not even 17 yet. 25 years away from DJing. What made you finally decide, I'm doing this? I'm starting a real mobile DJ business.
So, like I said a few moments ago, I've always had this affinity to the music, right? No matter where I went. And I remember when I would get invited places, people would also say, hey, Marcus, can you bring your Bluetooth speaker? Hey, Marcus, do you mind, creating a playlist? So people always kind of looked at me as being kind of the music guy. And it really didn't hit me until we were at one of our close friends. Their daughter had graduated from college. I believe it was her college graduation party. And we were at their house. I brought a big Bluetooth speaker. It was like a 10-inch, 12-inch speaker. And I put together a playlist and I started playing music because, they wanted me to kind of help with that piece of it. They didn't hire a DJ. They didn't hire me either, but they wanted me to be the DJ. So I'm like, okay, sure. So I brought the speaker and set it all up. And I remember something about just that moment of saying, wow, like this feels natural. Like, and just kind of everybody looking at me, hey, can you play this? Can you play that? And just kind of keeping the energy in the room high and keeping people dancing. And so that was kind of the first piece there. And then I would say later in the week, we were home, we went to bed. I woke up at like 2 a.m. Like, I mean, I just couldn't sleep. And I just woke up and it's just like, I want to be a DJ. And the way this all came about is that, listen, today is the youngest I'm ever going to be, right? And if I wait any longer, then that's just less time I get to live in my purpose and live in my passion. So I decided right then and there. I remember looking at, mom, and she's like, what's wrong? You can't sleep? I'm like, I want to be a DJ. I want to be a DJ. And so I remember I called up a buddy of mine, Sandeep. He lives in Cali. And I said, hey, because he's got some DJ equipment. I'm like, hey, bro, I think I'm going to go ahead and make the plunge and do this. What equipment? So he gave me his recommendations on what I should buy. And so I started to like piece it together. And then I'm like I'm like on YouTube all day, every day, looking at stuff, looking at videos, doing my research, what controller to buy, what software to buy, what speakers to buy, what microphones to buy, what DJ pools to buy. And so those first few months, man, I was raw. I remember like even just recently, you know how like when you have Facebook and you have like the little timeline and it says this is what you did 2 years ago. Like, so now these videos that I made like a year ago are starting to come back around. And I'm like, oh my God, I was so horrible.
I came a long way, yeah.
I'm like, I thought that was fire. That was not. I'm ashamed. I put that on social media. But at the moment, man, I felt like
you was the man.
I was the man.
The DJ.
They gonna respect this. And I look at that now, and it's like, oh my God, it was so raw. Like the audio wasn't even coming through the recording, video tool, and I'm getting audio out of the room, and it's just like this was not cool, right? It's like not fly at all. But
do you think like a year from now, you're going to feel that exact same way to your current stuff right now?
I think the person that I am, Jaden, is that I look at every day as an opportunity to grow and get better. I do not believe that anybody stays consistent. You are either gradually growing into what you're doing or you are declining, right? It might be very subtle where you don't see it or you don't know it. So I guess to answer your question, I anticipate that when I look at what we're doing today, that we will only become better. Now, I think I'm out of that initial rudimentary phase of just kind of like getting the equipment. Like I know the technologies, I know the equipment. I've done my research. I think they say you have to put 10,000 hours into anything that you want to like really build a skill around. Okay. So
the baby steps are gone.
So I think I'm past that stage, but I still have so much way to go, right? Like what I've done. And, mom mentioned that she's in the dental field. I'm also in the tech field. So this DJ thing is a side business. And it's not like I'm running it like a full-time business. So I'm doing a full-time job at my career in corporate America, but I'm also running this business as a full-time job. So 80 hours a week. Wow. But I'm putting in the time and the energy. And I read this one thing, and I'd love to kind of like hear what you got next for me. But, it said that if you really want to do something, and you really want something to be real and you want to be successful, there's a certain element of obsession that goes with it. And I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed with it. Like I think about it. I'm probably getting on mom's nerves. Like, why are you always on your phone? And it's like, I used to be on my phone a lot anyway, looking at little stupid reels or whatever just to get a laugh. But now I'm checking this DJ out. I'm checking this DJ out. I'm checking this MC out. Wait a minute. Oh, that's how they did this. Oh, this is what I need to buy. So when I look at today, our first gig, I had a 6-foot banquet table and, a little mini partition and, wires all over the place. And now today we have professional, equipment, upgraded DJ booths and speakers. And we just invested in like a white ceremony setup for our weddings as well. So they can go with like the tuxedo black, or they can go with the wedding white. So I guess, when we think about where we're going to be next year, I only see us being even more elevated because we'll be that much more further along this journey, because I'm not stopping.
Oh, that's amazing. All right. For the fifth question, what has been the biggest surprise, good or bad, about entering the private DJ world over the last 365 days, last year?
No matter how well you plan an event, you have to anticipate that something isn't going to go exactly to plan, right? And I think that's where you have to be mindful of, like, what are your contingencies? What are your backup plans? So, like, even now when we do our big weddings, I've invested in like a little small $300 controller as a backup in just in case my other one went down. But a lot of times the things that don't go right or go a little off are the timelines, right? Because when we do weddings, we don't just say, oh yeah, it's going to be this price and we'll show up that day. We meet with our clients. God, let's say if a wedding is in October, most likely we would have secured those services back in the springtime, March or April. So it's like a 6-month process. And then once we get into like that T-minus 60 days, we start having more regular touch points. And then we have a clause in our contract that the 4 weeks leading up to an event like a wedding or a quinceañera or a bar mitzvah, we have to have a weekly check-in, right? Making certain that we understand. So the work that Diana and I do, again, we treat it like it's a business, and it is a business, right? We meet with the clients. When we get there, we want to arrive at this time. We're going to be set up by this time. We're going to have 2 extra hours just to have baked in case we need to make an adjustment. Once the ceremony starts, we know what time it starts, what songs go with every component. We know the wedding party's name. We know the officiant's name. We know the videographer's name, the photographer's name. We make certain that we go above and beyond, not leaving anything to chance, so that if something were to come up, because again, that's the biggest thing, is something is always going to come up, but we know how to address it or adjust.
Navigate.
Right, because we know their vision. Like, we didn't just meet with them once or twice before the event. We know what they're looking for. So if something comes up and we need to call an audible, we know exactly which way to take it, because again, we know the client, we know what they're looking for.
Do you think that's something that separates y'all from like other companies?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. I mean, no slice to anyone else, but I try to be successful in everything I do, whether it's what I do in corporate America, and I take a lot of those same business principles and I apply that to the business, right? So everything from, and here's the cool thing, we live in a new world where AI is pervasive, right? So we leverage a lot of AI tools to really help us with this process. So when we jump on a call with a client, yes, we're still taking manual notes with the pen and paper, where we have an AI agent sitting on the call or assistant, taking notes, doing the transcription. So now when we wrap up a client call, not only do we send out a summary email that gives oriented details around everything we talked about, but it also lets the client know that, wow, they're not going to get this wow factor from most people. Most people are going to be like, oh, okay, cool. Here's your quote. We'll see you in 6 months. No. We want to know you. We want to understand you. We want to make those
build a connection.
Like, how many times I think there's been several times where we finish with a wedding and the clients, and I'm pretty sure there's a couple, they're just high on the wedding. They just got their vows, but they're like, oh my God, you're our friends. We want you at our next party. We're going to figure out. And it's just like, and sometimes that might happen, and other times it's probably just kind of the adrenaline or the emotion just kicking in. But that wow factor when it's all said and done and the clients come up to us and they're just like, thank you so much for making this day what it is. Like, that's when it's all, that's why we do what we do. So that's what sets us apart from what we feel a lot of the other DJs do or don't do, is because we really care.
That's amazing. And I feel like that's what a lot of people look for in a DJ. They don't want somebody that's just going to, do it halfway and just like halfway do it. They want somebody who's actually going to be there, be a part of it, and be a big connection with it. And with the last question here for you, and then we're going to jump back to Mom here.
Okay.
you have a full-time career at Microsoft as a global partner development manager. How do you balance that high-pressure role with running a fast-growing DJ business?
How much time you got, son? I'm gonna have to adjust my hat for that one. That's not easy. I have a very rewarding career that I have in corporate America, Microsoft. And the work I do is extremely important, especially I just talked a few moments ago about just kind of this AI horizon that we're on and what we're doing with our partners right now around AI. It's groundbreaking work, and it's innovation, and it's just, it's changing the way people and organizations do business, do life. So that's a very demanding role within itself. And I mean, again, I do that, and I'm tired at the end of the day because, again, it's not so much the physical labor, it's the mental labor. But again, I love doing that work, and it makes me feel like I'm part of something bigger than myself, which that's something I've always been drawn to. But again, I told you I take a lot of those business practices and I apply that to the DJ business. So at this stage of my life, and I'll give you this caveat right here, and this is probably going to be the most crucial point, is 5 years ago, we were really like leaning into like just socializing, and a big part of that was just having drinks and drinking alcohol. And we made a collective decision about 4 years ago now to just kind of like let that go. And so now with a sober mind, we're clear. It created this space because a lot of things that I was doing while we were drinking were like all these social engagements and entanglements. But once you kind of remove that, those things didn't really feel fun. So it created this void, right? So that in itself created the space for me to apply that empty time into something that's more purposeful. And that's why, although some weeks are 80-hour weeks, I mean, I'll put in 50 hours at work for my day job, and then I'll put in, 20, 30 hours a week with the DJ business. But that's how I've been able to balance it, right? I tell people all the time, before you can start doing anything, it's a game of subtraction. You got to figure out, what do you take off of your plate that is not enabling you to be the best version of yourself? What's holding you back from reaching your goals? What's keeping you from reaching your full potential? And for us, at least for me, it was just alcohol and just kind of being in that environment. Once I took that off the table, I got this entire set of this real estate, this area, this space where I can start building something new. And that's what I did. So, yeah.
That's awesome. And I know that's got to be, obviously I haven't got to experience that part of life yet, but I know that's probably a very big leap in courage that has to go with removing that from your life. So, again, proud of you for that. Both of you guys.
Thank
That's
you.
a big thing. Mom, the MC, we're going to jump back into you, and then we're going to have 4 more questions for each of y'all. Then I'm going to have some questions for both of you guys to answer together.
Okay.
Awesome.
So, Mom, what's the scariest or most challenging part of being an MC, and how did you overcome that fear?
Well, I think I mentioned it before, right? The scariest part isn't the mic. I think it's like believing in myself and also like standing in front of like hundreds of people, right? So I think it's standing in front of hundreds of people and speaking in front of hundreds of people. But I feel like, of course, to your dad's point, sobriety has given me discipline, you know what I mean? And the gym kind of has helped me too, because I'm big into my fitness, so gym has given me purpose, and, my family, my husband has given me strength. So, I think that like with all of that being said, I have learned to believe in myself, and just continue to take it one day at a time.
And that's amazing. And it's got to be a big leap, but you're a strong person. Grown with you, and I just know both of you guys individually are very strong. Together, though, there's nothing that can stop you guys in any aspect of life.
Thank you.
Your second question here. You've spent weekend after weekend after weekend helping your husband, this man, run weddings, events. It's got to be a lot of stuff. What keeps you motivated to keep doing this at such a high level?
I mean, honestly, what keeps me motivated is seeing your dad so happy. Like, I love seeing him so happy, and like,
Look at him smiling right now.
seeing
Just with that.
seeing him. I know music brings him joy. You know,
Christmas is around the corner. Christmas is around the corner. Like this is all part of her strategy. But I'm gonna let you have it. Go on, continue, girl. Go on, girl.
Music, really, honestly, like music. I know music brings him so much joy. He loves music. So like just seeing him in his purpose and just doing what like he absolutely loves to do. Like, you don't understand. Sometimes I just see him behind the scenes, and when I see him behind the scenes, like he's just so giddy, and seeing that like smile it just makes my heart so full. So like seeing him happy like that and seeing that big smile just fills my heart with like so much love, and I'm happy to like support him and trust him. So that's what keeps me going, is just seeing him happy.
And I feel like that's got to help you out along the way, knowing that someone's by your side. And
I mean, yeah. Let me just interject this piece of it here. Like when I say we turned a corner in this business, what allowed or enabled that corner, the turning of that corner, was your mom coming into this and really being a true part of this business, right? You know, initially we kind of rolled her out as kind of the behind the scenes operations manager. You know, her early days was just more so like a roadie, just kind of helping me out in terms of like, I mean, you know, I ain't trying to say you was my roadie, but you know, it's kind of what the early days were. You were helping me unload stuff and get things set up and stuff. You know, I still like, I'll plug in all the stuff. You just bring the boxes in, or you bring the speakers in. I got it. But when she decided that, okay, I'm going to be in this with you, and she started jumping on these consultation calls, and she started, because there's something about her energy when she gets in front of people and they just see that and they see us together, it just adds a whole nother value of like credibility, likability, and people buy from who they like, right? If they like you, they're vibing with your energy, they'll tend to go with your services. And so when she really like said, okay, I'm in this, I'm with you, we're gonna do this together. And you know, I listed her on the website, Diana the MC. You know, she offers bilingual MC services. Now we're going to have her branching out to start doing like wedding day consultation and wedding day planning. So for couples who don't have like a full out wedding planner, she can provide a subset of those services, like a day of coordinator. But her ability to really step into this has helped us turn the corner in a material way. And I'm eternally thankful, because this would not be as successful as it is without her. I love you.
Thank you.
All right.
Oh, that's amazing.
All right. Sorry, I didn't mean to steal your thunder or take away from your airtime. You go back.
And then the last question I have for you, from your point of view, what makes Dad such a strong DJ, and what strengthens you to bring that compliment from his style? Like,
I mean, look at him.
I'm just saying. No, I'm joking.
No, I mean, honestly, like his energy, his passion for music, it's amazing. His personality, his energy is just contagious. You know, he has a passion for music. It's something that he absolutely loves. And in every room that he steps in, he is just like a contagious person. You gotta love him. I mean, you do. And
where do you think you get it from, Jaden?
Here we go. and you know, the worst part about that is all my friends, whenever they see his videos, they're always like, oh my gosh, you act and look just like your dad. And I'm like, okay, like, I see him all like the time, and I'm just like, oh my gosh,
you're stealing my style. Like, you can't be taking my style to your high school, man. You know, but I'm joking with you now. That I appreciate it, but your journey is a whole other journey. We'll get into that in a moment, also as well. But so proud of you and your support as well.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Thank you. All right, so we've wrapped up the questions for Diana the MC. We're going to have a few more for you, and then we're going to do both of y'all's questions. So,
okay.
Dad, out of all the event types, corporate events, private parties, birthday celebrations, weddings, y'all do it all right? What do you personally enjoy most, and why?
Well, I'd be remiss if I didn't answer this the right way, because I feel like every event we do, it gives a certain sense of reward, whether it's a corporate event or a birthday party. We've done baby showers, and just being part of people's special day. That always really, it just clicks in a different way, because again, I think I've reached a stage of life where it's my turn to give back. And so, I try to do that, excuse me, through music. And, but when you think about the type of events we do, the one that I feel like gives us the most reward, at least for me, it's the weddings, right? Okay. And I'll tell you exactly why, because it's so much more of a connection. Again, these couples, they progress well beyond just kind of a client relationship. In some ways, they're actually, they become like associates, acquaintances, and, almost to like a period of time. They kind of feel like friends, because again, you're talking to them, especially when we get into like that T-4 weeks and we're talking to them every Saturday, kind of going through their timelines. But going through that whole process, I mean, a wedding, when you get to like, just kind of, let's talk about a wedding day, right? Okay. Ceremony starts at 4:00. Reception ends at, let's say 10 o'clock. That sounds like a 6-hour window. For a 4-hour gig like that, we're going to get there at 12, very late as 1 o'clock. And that means we left the house at 11:30, right? So we have to load up, get everything packed up. Then we have to drive. The way, you see a lot of these venues in Central Texas, they're usually kind of on the outskirts, kind of in these rural areas, et cetera. So it's usually like a 45-minute to an hour's drive based on where we live. And so you got that piece of it. We get there, we have to like make sure we know where we're going to go and where we set up. And then we set all our stuff up. And usually you have a setup for like the ceremony, right? So you got to make certain that setup, right? Because that's the first part. Then you have to do your microphone check, the handheld mic, the lavalier mic. You have to make certain that your gain levels are all set up, and then just do all these checks. And then, of course, once the officiant gets there, you do the mic check with the officiant, put the lavalier mic on him. Then you got to set up a second location for like the cocktail hour in many cases right there. So you have to have that curation of music playlist and all that going. And then, of course, you need to have like everything going for like the dinner and all of the private dances or the special dances, like the first dance, the grand reentry, the parent dance, the garter belt toss, the bouquet toss, anniversary dance, like all of these things happen. And so, and by the time we, get through all that, and again, we're doing MC work most of the time. So it's not like think about it like this, right? We do the ceremony. Now we have to make the announcements. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we will now move over to this area for the cocktail hour, right? So you have to be responsible. Again, knowing the couple's timeline, you've done all this work building up to that day that you can almost kind of just wake up and boom, you're ready to go. And so now my favorite part of any wedding is the grand reentry, right? And so I have this thing that I picked up from this guy out of Phoenix named DJ PHOX. And it's like, I think teachers use this technique occasionally. And it's like, if you can hear the sound of my voice, clap once. If you can hear the sound of my voice, clap 2 times. If you can hear the sound of my voice, clap 3 times. But I've kind of made that my own. And so right before we do like the grand reentry, I'll stand up, I'll go to the center of the dance floor, and I'll announce myself. I'm Marcus, I'll be your DJ. Diana's our MC, she's with us as well. And if you can hear the sound of my voice, I try to get everybody's attention and let them know, okay, we're going to start the grand reentry in about 5 minutes. So please be seated, because we want to make certain we have all eyes on the wedding party, specifically the newlyweds. And so I tell everyone what to do. If there's like a napkin or like linen on the table, like, make sure you twirl that in the air when the couples come in. And then we go out. We engage with the wedding party, and it's like we make sure we got their names. Okay, Billy and Susan, that's you. Okay, you two go here. You go together. Okay, Kim and John, you two go together. Right. So we go through all this, make sure everybody's name is pronounced correctly. We have everybody in the right order, and then we create that hype. And so I'm giving you all this to say that weddings are just so much more work, but they're so much more rewarding because you are truly time-stamped, etched into somebody's special day. Ideally, people are only going to get married one time, and you are in their memories. They will never forget the people that brought them music, that brought them energy, the people that helped them orchestrate their day. I say in many cases, if you do it the way we do it, our role, if not as important, it's more important than many wedding planners. Because again, we don't just show up to play music. We are part of the vibe. We are part of the musical soundtrack. So weddings, for me, that's where it's at. They take a lot of work. And so besides the 12, 13 hours we're gone on any given wedding day, you factor in all of the consultation calls and the planning calls. It's 20 hours worth of work. Damn. 20 hours worth of work just for one wedding, just to bring it all together.
And I feel like a lot of people don't really understand that about DJs. They think, oh, they're just going to go there, play some music, get the vibes right. Like, no, you are a way bigger role than that. That sets the tone for it, that lays everything out. And that's got to be a lot of work. Did you know that that's how it's going to be whenever you jumped into it, or did it just kind of hit you?
So let me be honest. And again, I want to give my man DJ PHOX some props out of Tucson, Arizona. So let me tell you about, remember that word I used a few moments ago, obsession, right? So the algorithm in Instagram starts matching you up to like other DJs. And so this one DJ I follow, he got on Instagram, and this was probably in December, about this time last year. And he said, hey, I'm going to have a wedding in March. If anybody wants to tag along and I can walk you through my process, reach out to me. So I'm like sitting there thinking like, I got the means, we don't have anything going on. So I talked to Diane. I'm like, hey, how do you feel about Tucson in March? And so I reach out to the dude, we talk. He kind of tells me what he's got going on. So I'm like, all right, we buy tickets, get a hotel. We fly out to Tucson, Arizona on our own dime. And we meet up with the guy the day of the wedding. We get there at noon. We help him unpack, help him set up a little bit. He's talking to us the entire way, walking us through his process, his MO. And this is why I use this microphone. This is why I set up this way. This is why I place the speaker this way. This is why I use this much space in between. He even has like an ebook online. It's called the DJ Blueprint, and DJ PHOX Entertainment. Look him up. He's got a blueprint book that you can buy to kind of help you with the process. But nevertheless, that was a major moment, because that solidified for me that this is what we want to do, the weddings. Like, it was just incredible. And how it all culminated to like the ceremony. And he was telling us, okay, I'm a little nervous, but this is how I do it. And now let's go to the cocktail hour and I have a microphone here for that. And then we went over to this other part of the venue where they did the reception, and it was just like this party. And this is how I use my lights, and this is how I place my lights around the room. And so just seeing all that, like, that was done deal. Like, I'm pretty sure Diana saw that my enthusiasm level went from here to here. So I was just like hyper focused. So once we got back, I think we had our first wedding in July. Yeah, first wedding 3 months later. Nervous as heck, but we did it. We made it work. Yeah.
So that like jump started your.
Oh yeah, that was it. That was
like,
yeah.
Oh, I see how it is. I gotta go do it.
But again, you have to have obsession. You have to put the time in. And if I would have just been on the sidelines, I'm not saying that we wouldn't have eventually been as successful as we are, because we're just those kind of people. We're gonna figure it out and find a way. But that time under that tutelage and just kind of seeing that experience firsthand and just how to make it work. And he's, he had been doing it for years. I mean, he say been a DJ for like 20 years, but just seeing that, it just made it all crystal clear to me on like what to do. So we almost came into it with like a head start. Like, we already knew like what some of the things that we needed to be mindful of were.
Oh, that's great. Shout out to that guy who you said his name is DJ
PHOX. DJ PHOX.
DJ PHOX.
DJ PHOX out of Tucson, Arizona. Okay. I'm giving you some props, my brother. So thank you.
All right. Got a few more questions here. This is one that I personally want to know. What's one highlight moment this year that made you think, oh yeah, we really built something special? Whether it's just the DJ stuff, whether it's with mom, like, what is that one moment?
Like I said, we'll get clients that'll come to us, and again, they're probably just riding the emotional high. But when we get to that point, and it's usually like the last hour of the reception, or sometimes it's usually right when the reception ends, and they come over and they just give us this hug, like, and it's consistent. That right there in itself just really it just brings it all home. It's like, wow, we we really did it right. We really contributed to the success, the happiness, the fulfillment of this couple's date. And so once we see that all materialize, like it just makes it like every time I think we've done 10 weddings or anniversary parties, like, vow renewals, etc. And every time we get that hug at the end, man, no matter how tired we are when we get home, it's all worth it.
Do you got something that you think was like a really big moment?
No, I mean, I think like to your dad's point, I think like the weddings definitely are special, right? And I think that they're even more special, especially considering like sometimes, just the way the world is and how scary and ugly the situations are nowadays, just to see that there's love and happiness and families still coming together and friends celebrating, seeing that love out there and happiness just really just makes it that much more beautiful and special. So it's amazing. Yeah. And to your dad's point, having our clients give us a hug at the end and just tell us thank you, it just fills our hearts up with so much happiness because we know we did what we needed to do.
And I love that. Besides like, getting the whole DJ stuff done and accomplishing everything that y'all accomplished, y'all also feel like a happiness and joy from seeing others also happy and, what the feeling that you helped give them. Yes. And that I feel like that's a great thing that a lot of people don't see up front, but like it's great. All right. So for 2 more questions for you, and then we're going to ask for both of y'all. Okay. On the flip side of that question that I asked you previously, what's one challenging moment or mistake that taught you a valuable lesson in the business?
I've always known this, but the one thing I will tell any DJ, and I knew this, it was one of those things, I knew it, but I just tried to do it my way, but I got my not hand slapped, but it backfired on me. And that is, it's not about you. It's about them. It's about the couple. It's about the guest. It's about the people on the dance floor. It's about whoever's in the room. You know the music, the vibe, you can mix, you can blend, you can do all those technical aspects of it. But at the end of the day, you have to read the room. You got to feel the energy and the vibe. And it's not about, oh, this is a new song and I think this is going to go with this. Once you have people on the dance floor and you got a vibe going, like let that run, let it run its course. Okay. Like if you got everybody on the dance floor and they got Selena going, play another Selena song or something in that genre. Like keep the energy going and don't think that or don't follow. I've seen like people put on stuff on social media and it's like, well, you play 4 songs and then you play another genre and play 4 songs and it's like. Yeah, that's a good rule of thumb. Like if you're just trying to open up a set and you're just trying to figure out what energy or vibe is going to really get people on the floor. But at the end of the day, it's all about the people. Your gift is to give the music. How they receive it is a different thing. And that's gonna require you to be attentive, but also to have humility, right? Don't come in there with this, be prepared, have your music, have your different genres of music, but make sure that you're there to make them happy. You're there to make them move. So I think that was the first part of it. The second thing I'll tell you and this is important, and I'll share this story. When you get into the circuit of working in this industry where you're working with weddings and you're going to start to build affiliations with all different types of people, right? Okay. Whether it's photographers or videographers or caterers, make those connections. And my initial thought was let me just get in here and focus on my part of it. But your mom, she was big on let's get to know this person. Let's talk to this person. And it wasn't so much about the networking piece of it. It was also just kind of the centricity, the building the relationships and the connection. And that just made it so much better. I noticed that when we did our first few gigs, I was just I'm not worried about that. I'm only worried about our stuff. But as we've matured and we've gone down this journey, and I thank your mom for this, it's just I really try to make certain that there's a connection and a synergy across all of the various, vendors. And this is why when we do our planning, we really impress upon our clients to create like a vendor sheet in Excel or Google Docs with all of the vendors, because again, if somebody doesn't show up or somebody's running late, last thing we want to do, especially if they don't have a planner, is to bug them. But we take on that extra, I hate to say, responsibility, because again, we're there from start to finish. We are the pulse and the heartbeat of any wedding from start to finish. So if something's missing, it not only affects us, it affects the clients, the guests, the couple. So we just try to make certain that we do that. So that's the other thing. The last thing I'll say is that you have to know that every interaction with a vendor is going to be slightly different. You have some let's say wedding planners, right? They are just extremely detail oriented and fully engaged on everything, right? They own the timeline. You co-own the timeline with them. And there's just that synergy I spoke about a few moments ago. There's others who kind of work in that wedding planner coordination field who are a little bit more hands off. Like they'll put everything on paper, but when it's showtime, they aren't as engaged, right? And so I remember one particular event where we were looking for the wedding planner to kind of like own the timeline and the cues. This is about to happen. You ready? This is about to happen. And I would say, although the wedding went well, I feel like it wasn't the best representation of what we wanted to deliver.
What y'all can do.
What we can do, right? And what we've adapted on or since then is really taking, like, it's us. We own it. We're not going to leave that. So if there is a wedding planner or a wedding coordinator, we're going to work in conjunction with them 100%. We're all about being part of the team. But if we see that there is like a lapse in communication or just a lack of ownership, we're going to step in and say, okay, you know what? We're going to take the reins. We got the steering wheel. We'll own that. So that was one of the big things that I think we learned, is just that you have to know your vendors. You have to know the people that you're working with, but some play a very crucial role depending on what part of the wedding or the event that you're at. And when it comes to like the whole timeline and just staying on the course, making certain the transitions are happening the right way. If we're not getting what we need, or we feel like the person's responsible for this part of it isn't necessarily taking charge, taking lead, and I'm not no slight to anyone, we'll step up and say, okay, you know what, we got this, and we'll kind of step in and own that. So, and
I love hearing that, because going back to what you said earlier, it shows you mean what you say whenever you say you want every experience with the DJ Marco Polo business with other people. You want them to have a great experience. You want this to be life-changing, and you want it to be something that they will remember forever. And even though you told me, that earlier one at the start, whenever you're first getting started, it went decently well, but it could have been better. It could have, everything could have been better. I love that, because it shows that you're serious about this. And most people, they'd probably just be like, oh, it's done, on to the next one. But you hold back on that, and, you don't let it, hold you back, but you grow from it, and that's a great thing.
I'll say this. There's many people have seen that movie Ray with Jamie Foxx, the Ray Charles movie, and there's a scene halfway through the movie where Ray is he's singing, and he's singing a ballad, a slow song. And I think the previous song was more of a high energy song, and then he transitioned into a ballad. And the crowd was still a little loud from the previous song, and so his road manager said, "Okay, lower the arena, or lower the lights. Okay, now start to put a focal or a spotlight on Ray." And it brought the energy level down, and now everybody was quiet so Ray could sing his song, right? And so right after that scene, they were all standing outside, and Ray, and portraying Ray Charles, Jamie Foxx character said, "Hey, you told him to like lower the lights. Why did you do that?" And his response was, "Because it needed to be done." And so that is these moments like that just kind of like stick with me, and that always stick with me. So stuck with me. So if I see something needs to be done, I just get it done. Like I don't wait around looking for approval. If I fundamentally know something needs to happen, I'm going to step into it and get it done.
That's great. And I have one more question for you, and then we're going to hop into the questions for both of you guys.
Okay.
Final question here for DJ Marco Polo.
What you got?
All right. If someone listening wants to become a wedding or private DJ, what are your top 5 things they must know before getting started? That like you wish you would have known.
Wow. Number one, you have to do your research. And when I say that, understanding that being a wedding DJ carries so much significance than just being a club DJ or just showing up for like a regular private event. You have to know that if you are going to get into this part of the DJ realm, that it is something that you have to cherish, something that you have to really have a sense of responsibility and accountability to, and understand it's going to come with a lot of work. It's going to, you have to take calls, and people's opinions or decisions can change from week over the week. Yeah. And that's why we have like these weekly calls the last 4 weeks of a wedding. I think that's the number one. That's number one. And these aren't in any certain order. Number two, it kind of goes back to what I was just talking about. You have to be able to make call audibles, right? If you know something isn't going as planned, expect the unexpected, but just be prepared and be ready to make those decisions. Call those audibles if you know those audibles need to be called, right? So just kind of be ready for that. You have to be good at the relationship piece of it. So many people they're good at there's so many DJs I follow and I've known for, many years, and they're just really great turntablists. They can scratch, do all this stuff behind their back. Sometimes they take shots at me. It's like, man, you ain't no you ain't no DJ. All you do is pressing buttons. It's like, okay, buddy, but I had a successful year. So, I'm not mad at you, but I'm going to grow into those parts of it. But I focus more on the relationship piece of it. And so building those connections with the clients, letting them know and just conveying a sentiment, a notion that we want to be part of your day in a very material way. We're not just there to play music. We are there to be part of this moment in your life that you will never forget. And so building a relationship with the client, we have text messages with them and they say, how do you feel about this color? We'll make suggestions. Hey, I remember when we were talking last week, you talked about this. How do you feel about this song? You weren't able to select, or you weren't able to decide what song you wanted for the grand reentry. How do you feel about this one? So again, calling those audibles and just kind of being more proactive in the approach. So the relationship is really important. I think the last thing is that you have to run it like a business, right? When you go into different companies and organizations, and whether it's a retailer or you go into like some other, firm, whatever, it's a business, right? You have to have the professionalism. You have to have a logo. You have to have a website. You have to have a social media presence. You have to promote yourself. If you don't promote yourself, then who else will, right? If you are in this and you're trying to do this from the shadows, then how do you expect to grow without any sunlight? You have to put some light on yourself. And I know a lot of people are fearful. It kind of goes back to the whole public speaking piece of it. But if you really want to be in this business, then you have to have a modern approach to modern marketing styles. And that is social media, whether it's Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, etc. But build up that legitimacy. Don't have a personal Instagram page that you have to request access to if you're a potential client, and then at the same time thinking that's going to double serve as your business page. No, you have to have a business page. And when they click or go to your business page, they need to see DJ stuff. Your mixes, your interactions at weddings, your interactions at corporate events, your interactions at birthday parties or corporate events. You have to be able to show your versatility, your ability to connect with crowds, your professionalism, your behind the scenes stuff. That's what we built with our social media presence, is just really being able to tell a story both on how it looks when you get on stage or when you're there at the big day, but also kind of the journey. I also do, the product review and just kind of like show other DJs like, hey, I invested in this line of speakers, or I invested in this particular brand of, controller, or here's an accessory I bought that'll take your audio from this to that. So again, just showing all of the different components that make it make it possible. Listen, if you're going to do this right, it's like any other business. You got to spend money to make money, right? And again, I'm not telling anybody to go broke, but at the same time, if you really want to do this in a legitimate way, you're going to have to make some decisions. Remember, I talked at the very beginning, what are you going to take off your plate? How much money do you spend on doing this that you could stop for a while and reallocate those dollars into your business or invest into your business? And when I say that, do you have some of these new AI assistants? Do you have Otter, or do you have a professional version of Zoom? Mm-hmm. So if you're on a call with a client, you don't get a banner at 30 minutes in and say, oh, your call is about to end, right? Especially if you're still not done with that consultation. So if you don't invest in these types of parts of these areas of the business, then are you really committed to it? Are you really serious? And again, everybody's working with slightly different budgets, and I'm not trying to make any assumptions of what people should spend, but if you are and you have the means, invest in it. Invest in the right equipment. Doesn't mean everything needs to be brand new. You can get stuff on Facebook Marketplace, but don't show up with a low-end quality speaker and a very unprofessional, setup and think that that's going to help you collect or get into weddings, especially if you're looking to do like premier weddings. Like your aesthetics is part of the overall theme. If people have spent thousands of dollars on their wedding decor and their flowers and all this, and then they go to the DJ booth and they look at their pictures and it's just a 6-foot banquet table with wires all over the place, mm-hmm. That doesn't scream professionalism. That doesn't scream or state that you have a premier set of services. So I guess getting into this business, just find out what your lane is going to be. If your lane is to get into like the wedding part of it, I'm going to tell you that's going to cost. It is not cheap to be a wedding DJ. I'm not going to throw the number out there, but let's just say a year in, having a really good year, we're still in the hole. It takes 2 to 3 years before you really get out of that. And there was a video that floats online with Ice Cube saying, if you're not willing to put 5 years without making a dime, don't even start. Now, I'm not saying I think people should put money into anything for 5 years and not get a return, but it's going to take some time. And sometimes that means you're doing things in stages. Sometimes it means you just make a certain level of investment to get you from here to here, but it is going to cost you. Run this as a business, be LLC, have business insurance. A lot of clients, when they go to venues, they'll ask for your certificate of liability. Mm-hmm. Do you have that? Can you present that? Can you make them an insured entity for that particular event? All of these things come into play if you truly want to be in the wedding DJ business.
Dang. Wow. So that's going to wrap up the questions personally. You guys did amazing. I really love both of you guys answering this. This is a great time. Now let's get into both of y'all questions. Who goes
first?
Y'all are going to answer together. Whoever you guys feel is appropriate.
I'm going to let you go first. I've been doing a lot of talking.
So we have about 4 questions. If you guys want to, take turns going first, or you want her to do them all, it's up to y'all.
We'll let her go. We'll take turns.
This is, as you can see, this is the DJ Marco Polo stuff, so we can let y'all handle this. So
what you got?
Whatever y'all feel comfortable with.
What you got?
First question for both of you. Over the last year, how has this business changed your marriage, partnership, or teamwork, not only at the events, but at home as well?
Well, I think it's definitely changed our marriage in so many good ways, on so many levels, just because we communicate a lot better. I also feel like we trust each other on, so many levels. So communication, trust is amazing. And what else is there?
You want to piggyback off?
Yeah, I think we get to do something together as a couple. Like, I think a lot of couples, and it's just a byproduct of most marriages, right? It's, you start to, you're married for 5 years, 10 years, and then there was this one thing or these set of things that just kind of created this synergy, or maybe you had these rhythms, and then you start to drift apart. I think this has been a nucleus that has brought us back together. And to Diana's point, there's this element of trust, right? Like I need to trust that she's got her part. She needs to trust that I have my part. But we're also working not only with our clients together. We take our consultation calls together. We ride and talk about, our expectations. We pray on our journey, like what are the things that we want to see happen, and pray to God that these things are going to happen, not only with His grace but also with our efforts. So it's brought us closer together. Now let me be real with you for a minute. People don't see this, well, man, we had a few moments we are bickering at each other. Like, don't plug that in there right there.
Well,
like,
because I'm trying to help him with his equipment, right? And he's very OCD.
We trust me, I know.
He's very
waking up
OCD.
for school in the morning, he's like, why are your pillows not facing the right way? You know that, or whenever I'm hanging up my clothes, he has to make sure the hook's facing the right way.
So when I'm trying to help him with, an XLR cable, which I've learned a lot through this whole process, if I don't put it in the right way, he can get very upset. And if I'm not gentle and if I don't treat it like a baby.
That's my thing. Treat it like a baby. Yeah. You got to treat the equipment like a baby. Yeah, I'm quick
it's
to
not
say,
cheap, so.
It's not.
It's like, what I love about it is like she'll roll up an XLR cable and she'll put it in the bag. I'm like, baby, that is the power bag. If you can't plug it into the wall, it doesn't go in that bag. This is the XLR cable. If it's for sound, it goes here. If it's for electricity, it goes here. And so, again, it's that kind of bickering. It's just like, or sometimes. There's been times where I'm like literally mixing. Let me tell you, if a DJ is mixing, meaning he has the headphones on, he's listening to music in the queue, and his hand is on a turntable or a jog wheel, and you're talking like, I think we should play this. Like, can I get this mixing? Like I'm trying, I'm in the middle of something. So sometimes I'm like, could you let me finish my mixing and then don't talk to me while I'm mixing? And so we run into that, but we've gotten so much better. And it just took, it's by way of because again, without communication, I just expect her to know what I know or know what I'm thinking. And we've learned that, just having communication and just kind of talking about here are ways that we can improve and become better. That's what really helped us turn that corner. But man, there have been times, boy, we want to throw hot grease on each other. The couple will look at us and just think we're all smile. And it's like, I'm going to kick your when I get you home. But that's just kind of how it is sometimes. But we're good.
Yeah, I feel like that's a big part of it. There's got to be downs for there to be ups, and you guys grow from it and get better.
That's right.
Second question I have for you guys. What do you feel sets DJ Marco Polo Entertainment apart from other DJs in a crowded market?
You want me to take that one or you take it? I think it's us, our power couple appeal, that dynamic duo and the dynamics that we have for one another. I'm really good at the logistics and the execution. She's really good at that connection piece and just really finding those ways to appeal. She sees gold in rocks. So I'll look at something and I'll just see a rock. She'll see something, the same thing, and she'll see gold underneath, right? And so us being able to really help our clients, and this is why we do our consultations together and why we pretty much always do them on camera. We don't want to just have a phone call. We want a video call. We want to meet in 2 dimension and make that connection. But I think the connection piece of it, how we run our business with the professionalism, the execution, the follow up, the follow through. If we say we're going to get you a quote by this time, we get you a quote. After every consultation call, we send them a summary email. These are the things we talked about, and here's what we need to be prepared for the next call. And if we have a call on let's say a week out, that the day before, it was like, hey, in preparation for our call tomorrow, here are the things that I would like us to be prepared to talk about. It's taking that extra step. I think that's what we do, is that we go that extra step that a lot of people don't either want to do or they don't feel like it's necessary. Yeah. And for us, sometimes it's not necessary, but you know what it does for our clients? It adds a sense of professionalism and just demonstrates how accountable and how prepared we and how much we care, how much we're going to be there.
Yeah.
What do you think, Diana?
I agree. I think it's also, just the fact that, it shows that we also care. And I mean, I know that we're very passionate about what we do, and we care.
Yeah.
You know, it's a part of their special days, so we want to make sure that it's perfect.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, anybody looking for DJs, they can change y'all, all right? They can make it a really big time. So,
right.
Third question I have for you guys. Looking ahead into 2026 and beyond, where do you see this business going? What are your bigger goals for the DJ Marco Polo brand?
I'll start there. I think going into 2026, it's kind of building on the foundation of what we've already done in 2025. We started with a really modest setup. We eventually built that into like a really premium setup for weddings and corporate events with, a very high-end DJ workstation. It has a display on the front and camera rolls that can take pictures from people's phones and throw it up on our slideshow. Professional grade equipment. We spend more on microphones than most people spend on a lot of things, right? Like just one microphone, we'll spend $1,000 because we want to make certain that everything is right. But we've just invested in a white DJ setup, right? White workstations, white a DJ station, as well as white speaker systems, as well as white light fixtures. So that way, if couples want like the black sleek feel, they got that. If they want the white feel because they feel like that ties better into like the wedding theme, we have that. Again, we're making the investments. We're taking the earnings and we're reinvesting it right back into the business, because I think we can turn this into a truly six-figure income that basically is a side hustle for both of us by the end of this year. Like that's the goal. And if we don't do it in 2026, we're damn sure going to do it in 2027. So that's what I see the future holding for us. I don't know if you have anything to add.
I agree. I agree with Marcus 100%. It's funny because this month actually is our slow. Well, we're slow for the month of December, right? But we've set some time aside so we can really just kind of put pen to paper so we can kind of write down our goals and kind of see what our goals are for 2026 for DJ Marco Polo's business, because my goals and his goals may be completely different. So we just want to make sure that we're aligned to make sure that like the business can grow into something very beautiful, Right. I think that it'll be an elevated, premium, successful business, and I'm excited for 2026.
Yeah,
there's a lot of good things coming. So
I think the last thing is just that we continue to invest in ancillary experiences, right? So we have like the cryo cannon, so you can spray the CO2. We have different uplighting packages where you can illuminate a large room. We have code sparks, so the sparks can shoot up if the client is doing like a grand exit or a grand reentry. We awesome. Have the fog machine, so if the client wants to do like the whole dancing on the cloud, and when you get the pictures, it looks like they're like doing their first dance on the cloud. So again, taking a good portion of our earnings and reinvesting that. I think the last thing is going to be obviously like having like our own photo booth, so we can provide that experience as well. That way it's kind of a one comprehensive set of experiences that our couples and clients can select from. So they may want a photo booth, but they don't need co-sparks, or maybe they want the DJ booth and set up in black, but they want this in white. Like we want to make sure we can give couples those options and that flexibility.
Because then it shows that like not only are they getting the DJ experience, but they're also getting to shape it out and
totally.
make it their dream wedding.
Make it, absolutely.
Yeah, and that's great. All right, one last question here for both of y'all. If you could go back a whole year, 365 days, and give yourselves one message before starting this journey, what would that message be?
Just do it.
Just do it.
I like that.
Hey, that's a good answer.
Hey, just do it. Yeah, that's kind of like our little slogan that we use. Just do it.
Yes.
I would say at its core is trust the process, trust yourself. We're doing something that we didn't think we could do, and things are happening faster. And even when we told ourselves like, hey, we're going to take the month of December off, we get a client, and it's like, okay, for a New Year's Eve event in not San Antonio, in Dallas, and it's like, hey, well, New Year's Eve, we're gonna take that off, and the guy called, and we had a price, and he was willing to pay our price. So guess what? We're gonna be taking our show on the road, and we'll be DJing a New Year's Eve party. But again, that goes back to the relationship piece of it, and just how we promote ourselves on social media and other marketing channels to really demonstrate our differentiation. What's so different about going with DJ Marco Polo Entertainment versus going with another DJ? And there's other DJ companies out there that do a fantastic job. We take a little bit of what we can in terms of like their approach. We make it our own, incorporate it, but man, we have nowhere to go but up. I think we're going to take this to a whole nother level, man. We the
Sky's
best.
the limit.
We the best. Little DJ Khaled there. And I guess in closing, it's like, if you are looking for a premium DJ experience for your wedding or your corporate event or your birthday party or a quinceañera or any type of event where you're really looking for a very polished, pristine experience, DJ Marco Polo, like, we are your go-to entertainment, full stop. We do all of the things. We have setups in white, black, cold sparks, CO2 cannons, fog machines, up lights, MC services, consultation services, wedding day coordination services, photo booth is on the way. We do all of those things. So how do you find us? Our website, one, thedjmarcopolo.net. Secondly, you can look us up on social media. We have the same handle across all social media channels at the DJ Marco Polo. You can also look up my beautiful wife. She's on social media at Diana the MC. So, or Diana the MC. You can find her on social media there as well. We're also on The Knot as well as Wedding Wire. So if you go to those platforms looking for a wedding DJ, you can find us on both of those platforms. Of course, Google. The last thing I'll leave you with, Jaden, is that that has been like a blessing in itself, is that at the end of every event, we politely ask our clients for a review. And I'm very, very proud to say that together, in our first year, we have 22 Google reviews, and every single one of them are 5-star.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow. Nothing but 5 stars.
Nothing but 5 stars.
How much are you aiming for the year 2026?
Well, I would love to get that number closer to like 75.
Okay.
I think there's some approaches from strategies we can implement to like really tick that up, getting more reviews from, more events. But we see nothing but bigger and better going into 2026.
And that's amazing. Thank you guys both for answering the questions. This was an amazing experience, not only for me, but for everyone watching this. Also, they get to see how the inside life of being a DJ is. It's not just music and stuff, but it's also a lot of personal, trust, a lot of stuff that goes into it. So thank you guys so much.
Thank
you.